Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today it's time for my client Saif's vlog. And this week he tried to do the straight bar for everything. He got at 85% training max. He got 6 reps. Says he left 1 to 2 reps in the tank. Then he did all his back off work. And I hate to use that term, let's call it assistance work. He did his assistance work with the straight bar also, and I'd kind of told him, well, if your biceps been hurting, you shouldn't have done that. Let's use your specialty bars for that. That's why they exist. That's why we have them. And, he agreed. He's like, I didn't think about that. So, this is kind of a little bit what happens when your lifters branch out on their own some and they start wanting to kind of make their own adjustments. They don't always think of these things. They run into these problems. The stuff we've kind of talked about in the past, that it's a good idea to, if you want to get good with the straight bar, use a straight bar. But particularly if you have a history of elbow problems, biceps, shoulders, if you're going to do rep work, and I don't even like these sort of systems these days anymore. He just prefers it because he's made such good progress. Like I said, I will convince him one day to do conjugate. Right? I'll convince him one day to do conjugate, and then he'll understand. But when you run systems like this, you have to think in terms of those bars and the fatigue you're generating and the stress you're placing on certain joints and things if you're going to do a lot of volume with your multi-joint exercises. It's just things that we have to think about. Okay, so after that, he did his belt squats. Now, here's how I would do this for a conjugate lifter. We would have gone just to belt squats, right? We would have totally skipped all that. We wouldn't have done those back off work. We wouldn't have done assistance work of that nature. But he's still working off of the 5-3-1 type system. He's one of my 3 clients who are still doing that because they prefer it, right? It's simply a matter of they prefer it. And, that's okay. As a coach, if someone just tells me, look, this is what I want to do, all right, that's what we're going to do, even if I know it's not best, until they start competing. Right, and when it comes time to compete, I'm going to tell them I don't care what you prefer. You're hiring me to coach you, then you need to let me pick your training. When we go to competition. But when it comes to my Gen Pop lifters like this, and Saif doesn't plan on competing in the next year, we want them to enjoy their training. And this is something all trainers and coaches have to remember, right? The difference between your competitors and your non-competitors. Your non-competitors need to enjoy their training. They need to feel confident in it. It's like, okay. All right. Benching, he decided that to stop at the 75%. He wants to get used to this wider grip he's using. All right. So he did his stuff with 65, 75, skip the 85. He's like, well, I want to get used to it. And then he did his assistance work. Now, for me, again, this is sort of stuff I have lifters adjust to. I wouldn't grip this wide for the assistance. Not for more than about 1 week. Because it is too wide. This is going to start chewing your shoulders up. Just be aware of this, guys. What I would generally want if they're going to do benching for hypertrophy, I would want them to use a grip that puts their wrist the most stacked. In other words, I want those forearms 90 degrees from the floor at the bottom. Why? It's going to give the best tension on the pectoral at the bottom. Right, we're going to get the most chest growth because we do these sets of 10 for hypertrophy. That's why we do them. So that would probably be, more desirable. And I'm not saying really wide benching can't be used for short phases, but I wouldn't run it for a month straight. I just wouldn't. Okay, I don't recommend it. Now, we do illegal wide benching some of my lifters for a week or 2, sometimes, if they're really weak off the chest, right? That can be a supplemental lift that we do. But again, it's not something we want to do full time. All right, giving you guys a side view so you can see what his bar path looks like. Okay, and again, pretty short range of motion when he goes out real wide like that. All right, because he's a big guy. He's got a pretty good arch. He's got, fairly short arms. So, he'll be a crazy strong bencher one day. And I think people forget, they're like, why do you call him an intermediate when he's, lifting this and that weight. And it's like, well, because he is an intermediate. His training time. His training time. And his training adaptations. All right, then he did some sets of 10 with the football bar. Again, build those triceps up, easier on the shoulder. Following that, we're doing band work. It's all band work for the rest of the day. All right, he's doing face pulls. He does some band press downs. And again, we don't do direct bicep work because number one, his biceps are big. Number two, he has continual bicep pain and inflammation due to his work because he carries a lot of heavy stuff all day at work for hours. All right. And he's also cutting a little bit right now for those curious. He's like, I want to drop a little more weight. Keep focusing on strength. I need to drop a little more weight just for health. He's already lost weight. That came up in the last vlog too. You know, someone had said, oh, he needs to lose weight or whatever, you know, he'd look great. And they pulled all this stuff. And I'm just like, first off, we're not always concerned with that here. He's not a bodybuilder. I don't coach bodybuilders for the most part. I've had a couple bodybuilders as clients short term. He doesn't care. Plus, he's already lost weight. So, I mean, anyone who's watching this needs to realize he was a lot heavier, you know, a year ago. All right, he has lost weight. He will continue to lose some weight and body fat. We're taking our time with it. He's healthy right now. He's strong. He's getting stronger. And he has been slowly losing weight. So what's the problem? Not everyone's in a hurry to do a crash weight loss, rapid fat loss that they can't sustain, you know. You can do these things gradually. You can do these things over several years. Just get a little leaner, lose a little more fat, lose a little more body weight. As long as there's continual progress towards that, even if you're overweight, we know the research shows that the entire time you're losing weight, your blood work looks better, right? This is what all doctors know. If you're overweight and you lose 1 pound every month, your blood work will actually improve. As long as you don't go back, you know, hypercaloric. Your blood work will actually look better every month, just slightly. So he got 5 on his deadlifts, and he's like, all I felt like I could push today. So, you know, we're kind of getting to where, because he's adjusting stuff around a little bit, stuff is stalling just a little. Plus, he is in a small deficit again. So, you know, we're not going to see the same progress for a bit. And this is, again, where this sort of system does start to fail people at a certain point. And I like to take them off of it. All right. After that, he did Buffalo Bar Good Mornings. Again, for sets of 10. He's working on getting better at these, building his strength up on them. He needs more posterior chain. He's got a lot of quad, massive quads, a lot of upper body, hamstrings and stuff like that need more work. Low back needs more work. All right, then he does band curls. We do some seal rows, and of course he does 45-degree hyperextensions. And he has a reverse hyper coming, which, you know, we're hoping to have within a week, and then we can work on that next. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.